Hey, what's up guys, Shuckle King here, bringing you my PPL Week 2 Team Builder and Match versus PaullyMac. He's a really cool guy who recently moved to Australia, which is really cool. I don't know if I'd make that big of a life switch, like moving to a different continent, but you never know. It might happen, but I wouldn't expect it. But definitely go check out his channel for sure. He won his first week, and I lost my first week, so I'm getting more used to the Wi-Fi setup. I feel like I'm going to be a lot more comfortable for this game than my first game, so I'm trying not to get 0-2 if I don't have to. And in my opinion, I feel like I have a pretty good matchup in this game. But anyway, his team for most to least threatening would be Thunderous Eye with Z moves, Mega Lopunny, Tyranitar, Feraligatr, Steelix, Venomoth, Almamola, Alolan Ninetales, and Uxie. Now, Thunderous Eye is just a great setup Pokemon. I feel like it's pretty underappreciated. First, it can run Scarf, which is certainly nice. Outspeeds 110 base speed like my Latios, which is super annoying. But otherwise, like a setup, a variant either with Nasty Plot and or Agility works really well. Now, my Weavile can Revenge Kill it pretty easily with Ice Shard. But other than that, I really don't have much to take on that well. If he's like standard Thunderbolt, Hidden Power Ice, he could even be just Dual Dance with that set. It does really well versus my team. I guess Rhyperior can also take hits if it's only like +2, depending on my spread, I suppose. And Mega Manectric's okay at taking it on, especially pre-Mega, because it can take electric moves really nicely. Mega Lopunny also does pretty well just because it's a Mega Lopunny. Now, I do have Toxapex. That's a pretty reliable answer. Bronzor, to an extent, can handle it okay, but High Jump Kick's still going to do a ton to it. But otherwise, I really don't have great defensive pivots because he can run Ice Punch or Ice Beam to nuke my Landorus T. Even on like a Switch or After Rocks, it probably kills it unless I'm really defensive. So I have to watch out for that. Tyranitar can do whatever it wants to do. Dragon Dance, be defensive with Stealth Rocks. Has a lot of options. Feraligatr could be even higher up in this list, honestly. Like, again, similar to the Thunderous Eye, depending on what set he brings, it could work really well, but I could have mons that counter it. Like, Ferrothorn's usually a good counter to, like, offensive water types, but he could carry Superpower, and if he's, like, Swords Dance Superpower, that would destroy me. If he has Aqua Jet, that would destroy my Landorus T. If he has Earthquake, that would destroy my Toxapex. So he has a lot of options, Crunch or Ice Punch to hit my Latios. So he has a lot of options with the Feraligatr, and I really don't have a great way to Revenge Kill it besides my Mega Manectric. So I feel like that's going to be a pretty important bring this match. Other than that, Steelix could be annoying if it's offensive. Venomoth, if he can get like +2 Quiver Dance up, he basically wins, especially because he has Psychic to get past my Toxapex. And Bug Buzz is going to do a lot to Ferrothorn, even though I have a lot of special defense investment. I don't think it's bulky Albamola Tang or Earth Core. I don't think it comes. It could come, but I don't think it's going to serve that effective versus my team that I'm going to bring. Alolan Ninetales could come as well, but I feel like I have ways to revenge it, though. Just an offensive Alolan Ninetales can be pretty annoying versus my team because Weavile can't do much to it without Metal Claw. It outspeeds my Landorus T, it outspeeds my Infernape, and can Moonblast and do a lot to it. So I really have to watch out for Alolan Ninetales. And Uxie, I really don't expect to come. It could be like a Colbert Berry set, I guess, to take on a Weavile, or even special defensive to somewhat take on Latios. But I don't think it does a whole lot in this game, just besides sitting there. So, the team I'm bringing first is Ferrothorn, Minesweeper. I kind of don't really care for the most part about nicknaming my mons, but if I'm going to go on the Wi-Fi route, I might as well try to do that. So I got Minesweeper, the classic game growing up. But Ferrothorn is a mixed defensive set with max HP, a little bit of defense, and special defense. Now this allows me to live a lot of Adamant, Life Orb, Fire Fang from Steelix. But other than that, I really want more special defense bulk to take stuff like a Thunderous Eye hit, to take a Alolan Ninetales hit if I have to. Venomoth, Bug Buzz will do a little bit less. I really don't have to take physical hits from this, I guess, besides, like, I don't know, Tyranitar, just because Mega Lopunny is going to do a lot with High Jump Kick anyway. Unless if I were Choppleberry, then Ferrothorn could be defensive maybe, but it's going to die that anyway. And I have Toxapex spoilers I can take on Mega Lopunny pretty well. But Leech Seed to get a little bit more recovery with my leftovers. Spikes and Stealth Rocks are here just because Hits or Hazard removal is Thunderous Eye and Venomoth. So both of them I mean, they could run Defog, Thunderous Eye more so than Venomoth, just because Thunderous Eye has Prankster Defog, which is really nice. But again, that's taking up an offensive slot or a setup slot that he would forego otherwise, and I'm definitely okay with that if that's the case. And then Gyro Ball just to do overall damage to his team. I feel like that does a little bit more than Power Whip, so I don't think Albemarle is going to stay on in Ferrothorn. And at the least I can lead seed, get a lot of recovery off it, and then set up my spikes and Stealth Rocks on it. Next I got RIP Cornelius, the Toxapex, Black Sludge, max HP, basically max defense and a little bit of special defense with Regenerator, Recover, Toxic Spikes, Haze, and Scald. Haze, he has setup options like Power Up Punch, Mega Low Punny. He has Nasty Plot, Thunder Side that could just come in on me and Nasty Plot or Agility pretty easily. Dragon Dance Tyranitar, Swords Dance for Alligator, or Dragon Dance and Quiver Dance Venomoth. He has a ton of setup, especially under Veil. If he brings it, that's going to be really tough. So Haze will at least try to neuter that, and ideally I have Toxic Spikes up, so I can, in tandem recovery, Haze stall out those monsters that are trying to set up on me. Except for the Thunders, I don't do too great against that. But maybe if I get a Scald Burn, that'll work out. And my Ferrothorn should take it on okay. Driver Ball should do a decent amount of damage. But the Special Defense slight investment will actually allow me to not get 2-hit KO'd by a max Special Attack, Freeze Dry, or Extra Sensory after Rocks by Alolan Ninetales. But if he's Life Orb, he does 2-hit KO me, so that's something I gotta watch out for. Next Pokemon I'm gonna bring is the Airbud, the Manectric, with Volt Switch, Overheat, Thunderbolt, Hidden Power, Fighting. Again, pretty straightforward for the most part. Manectric's going to run something like this every week. 2 electric moves, Fire move, and Hidden Power, whatever. This week it's going to be Hidden Power, Fighting, because I can 2-hit KO to Tyranitar unless if he's really bulky or at Saltfest. Volt Switch for Momentum, and Thunderbolt to hit a lot of his team pretty hard. The Mega Low Punny I Speed Type with, Alolan Ninetales will get hit decently by it, though Overheat's obviously going to do more. Thunderbolt's going to do decent damage to Thunder's Eye. I should 1v1 if we both come in at the same time. Tangrowth gets bopped by an Overheat. Albemarle gets bopped by a Thunderbolt. Uxie takes okay damage, but I can Volt Switch out. Steelix gets bopped by an Overheat if doesn't have us dirty anymore. Feraligatr gets bopped by a Thunderbolt, and Venomoth gets hit by a Overheat. So this has a great matchup for me, and again, max speed is the speed type to Mega Low Punny, in case he does run max speed. Next Pokemon I have is Shaved Ice, the Weavile with Life Orb, knockoff Icicle Crash, Ice Shard, Brick Break. Pretty straightforward set, max attack, enough speed to add speed, probably the Thunderous Eye. No, it's a little bit additional speed to add speed, a +1 Tyranitar. If he goes for like a Dragon Dance or if he Scarfed Tyranitar, I will add speed with my Weavile, and I should knock it out unless he's Chople or has like max HP. I should knock it out with Brick Break, especially after Rocks or Spikes are up. Ice Shard to pick off the Thunderous Eye. Icicle Crash does a lot of damage versus his team. It's a pretty safe move for me to go for, especially like if Albemola with Rocky Helmet is the issue, or switch in, I don't want to go for knockoff a ton. I will get rid of the Rocky Helmet, but I'll be taking extra chip damage plus Life Orb. I don't really have to take if I don't want to. And Albemola is really only safe switch in into Icicle Crash, because Icicle Crash plus knockoff should do a ton for Alligator. Again, especially if Spikes or Stealth Rocks are up. Next Pokemon I have is Infernape, Toy Scarf with some less speed to add speed, max speed Venomoth, U-Turn, Close Combat, Flare Blitz, and Mach Punch. Mach Punch is there to outspeed any priority from the Mega Low Punny, like if I'm low and he's low and I can kill with a Mach Punch. If he has Quick Attack, he'd be able to kill me, but because I have Scarf and Mach Punch, I'll be able to outspeed his priority and knock him out in return. U-Turn to get momentum throughout. Close Combat does a decent amount of damage to his team, especially to the Tyranitar. Doesn't hit the Albemola or Uxie that hard. I mean, Infernape doesn't hit the Albemola that hard anyway. But I do have my Regenerator Core plus my Manectric to handle Albemola, so I'm not too worried about that. And Flare Blitz for my most powerful fire move. Last Pokemon I have is Landoleo. Oh, by the way, Chester the Infernape, named after the Cheetos mascot. I actually had Cheetos for the first time like 2 months ago. Kind of random, and I don't know why I waited that long in my life to eat Cheetos. I mean, they were good, but I don't know. I don't eat a whole lot of cheese besides like Italian cheeses, like on pizza. Anyway, the last Pokemon I have is Landorus T with Fly and EMZ with Earthquake, Swords Dance, Fly, and U-Turn. U-Turn again to get momentum. Earthquake hits his team pretty hard. What's his resist? Thunderous Eye and Yuxi. Yuxi's going to get hit pretty hard with a fly, especially if I go for a sword stance. I'll be able to knock it out at +2. And with this investment, 140 attack. Well, I guess the main important thing is the speed, a max speed to outspeed a Venomoth. And the HP will allow me to live a Ice Punch from Mega Lopunny after rocks. That's pretty clutch there, and I didn't really need the extra 252 attack to do the damage that I needed to do, because Earthquake plus Z-Fly should do a lot of damage. I don't know if I'm going to be able to set up a Sword Stance this match, but I debated with Knockoff on that last move, or even Stealth Rocks, and then giving Power Whip to Ferrothorn, but Sword Stance is nice. I want to try to break through Alomomola or Yuxi or Tangrowth if I already burned my Z-Fly. So that's my team. Let's hop right into the match. Alright, here we are for the match. Shoutouts to 6-Foot Hacks for recording my team, and Omega Jolteon Youngster Bill and 6-Foot Hacks for helping me team build. As we can see here, he does not bring the Feraligatr, which I was a little bit surprised about. It could break down a lot of my team depending on what type of set he brought, Dragon Dance or Sword Stance. But otherwise, I'm not terribly surprised. I guess I'm a little surprised of the Regenerator Core, but I do have my own to kind of counter it. I would like to get up all my hazards if possible. The Venomoth is sitting there, which is a little bit of a problem for Toxapex to get Toxic Spikes up. So I'm going to lead the match with Ferrothorn and hopefully get up my Stealth Rocks and Spikes. The worst case scenario would be that he leads with the Thunderous Eye, especially if he has Fire EMZ Incinerate, which would be annoying. But even if he leads Mega Lopunny, I do have a pretty safe answer to it in my Toxapex. So, by the way, shout out to 6-Foot Hacks for the really nice recording quality that he gave me here. So he's going to lead with the Albamola. A little bit of a weird lead, but I'm definitely okay with this. I don't want to go for the lead seed to get a lot of recovery on this. I'm going to just go right for the Stealth Rocks. I imagine they would be here to stay because I don't have removal, and I'm guessing that he doesn't either. So I get up my rocks, and that's going to be really nice. Assuming he's going to just go for Hidden Power Fire, I should get at least a spike or two up on this, because I am pretty specially defensive. But he goes for the Substitute. I was like, okay, that's weird because he would be a sub Leech Seed set, but I am Ferrothorn, so I'm sure he has something to get through my Ferrothorn with this set. But I am probably okay with this. I can just set up spikes all over this. It shouldn't be able to do much. But he does show the Sword Stand, so that's a little bit threatening there. But again, I do have a Ferrothorn on this. I don't think it's going to do a whole lot. Now, if he gets to +6, that's going to be a little bit of an issue there. But I am getting my spikes up, and I will decide in the end just to get a third layer of spikes up, as I don't think this Tangrowth can do too much to me. I don't even know if it gets a sub-focus punch. If he was focus punch plus a power whip, that would be annoying, but again, my Toxapex should be able to handle that pretty well. My Infernape would handle that set okay. So I just do get all my 3 layers of spikes up, so even if I have to sack the Ferrothorn and maybe even one other thing in my team, I'm okay with taking that trade in order to kill this Tangrowth that's setting up the +6 on me, plus getting all these hazards up on his side of the field. I'm really okay with that. So I'm going to go for the Gyro Ball. I know it's not going to break the sub, but I imagine it should 2-8 KO, so I don't think he's a max HP, max defensive Sword Stand set. That would be a little bit strange. Not that this set is strange to begin with anyway. So he goes to the Earthquake. That shouldn't be able to knock me out based on the calc that I did and the little bit of defense that I have. But his damage actually shows that he is adamant max attack Tangrowth, even at +6. So it's pretty funny set there. Shout out to PaullyMac for a pretty cool set. So you go for the Gyro Ball and break the sub. I expect him to go for the Substitute again, so that way if I go for a Gyro Ball, trying to sack this off, he can get a free sub. And I do not want him to get a free Substitute up on me impossible. So I'm going to go into my Landorus. The very worst, I can at least get an Intimidate off. But, I mean, he's still at +5. That's going to do a ton of damage no matter what. But assuming he's going to sub, or maybe even Earthquake, because I don't know if a Power Whip would knock me out at that range. Probably. It probably would knock me out even if I'm resistant to it. But he does go for the sub as expected. Now I'm going to U-turn out of here. Now I predict him to Substitute again because I could easily Z-Fly. And if he subs again on that, I'd have to fly up as he could do damage, and I wouldn't be able to really break this Tangrowth. Or if I just go for U-turn and sack off my Ferrothorn, he could sub again. So I'm going to go right into my Infernape. Again, don't want him to have a free substitute as possible. And I'm going to U-turn out eventually with my Infernape as well. Allowing this, I know I'm probably going to either lose my Landorus or my Infernape here, as well as my Ferrothorn being pretty low, but I do not want this to have a free substitute as possible. So I'm going to U-turn out. I don't know what his last move is. I'm assuming it's Power Whip or some type of grass move, so I U-turn out and go into my Landorus. If he goes for an Earthquake, great. I can go for a Z-Fly here and kill this Tangrowth, and it's not a big threat anymore, but he does go for the Seed Bomb. And even at +4, even with my bulk, he was like 115, 120% minimum damage right there. So Tangrowth is going to be able to knock out my Landorus, which you wouldn't expect that unless it was like a Hidden Power Ice Tangrowth set, but this is a Sword Stand Seed Bomb set. I threaten out the Tangrowth, but I know he wants to save it to handle my Regen Core, or my Ferrothorn plus my Toxapex Core, Defensive Core. So I'm going to actually Volt Switch, predicting that he's going to go into Tyranitar here. Again, I'm going to try to keep the momentum up as long as possible because I do have the Spikes and my Stealth Rocks up on the field. I didn't waste the first 5 turns of the match going for those moves for no reason. I could have Hidden Power fighting, but that would have been really risky. If he stayed in, I didn't want to lose my Mega Manectric. I would have been okay with sacking off my Ferrothorn instead, because I would imagine he would have just gone for an Earthquake and killed my Manectric if he decided to stay in. If I Volt Switch out, I do like 20-ish or so %, so I'm okay with this damage and going to my Infernape. I'm pretty confident I can knock it out with U-turn. I don't want to go for the close combat. That would give a free switch into Albemola and probably have Rocky Helmet damage, so I don't want to get that stacked up on me. But unfortunately, I'm not able to kill with my U-turn, so I'm going to have to find something to take a hit or sack off my Ferrothorn. But I'm going to go into my RIP Cornelius in here as he goes to the rocks. So a little bit unfortunate that he was able to get his rocks up. I could have easily knocked him out and prevented that from happening, but that's okay because this actually gives me an opportunity to go for my Toxic Spikes here, because I figured Tyranitar is not going to be able to do too much to me at all, and I could just kill it with a Scald whenever I want to with this Toxapex. So I'm going to just get a 1 layer of Toxic Spikes up. I don't really think I need 2. Based on the rest of his team, it would be nice to get 2 to wear down that Tangrowth a little bit more, especially if he wants to prevent him from getting substitutes up. But otherwise, I think 1 layer should be pretty good to weaken the Lopunny a little bit quicker, as well as the Albemola, because I have enough pressure where it won't be able to stall me out with just the regular poison damage. So I'm going to sack off my Ferrothorn here. I'm going to do this versus recovering with my Toxapex because I want to get a free switch in, and I'm okay with Ferrothorn going down at this point in the match. He really did all that he could do in this match, so I'm really happy with that. But I also want to prevent him from going for a Defog in case the Venomoth or the Thundurus has it. So that was another reason why I switched out, to try to prevent that from happening. So I'm going to U-turn, and the second time's a charm. I am able to knock out this Tyranitar with this Infernape, which is great. So at this point, I feel like I'm in pretty good shape, even though a couple mons are dead and weakened on my team. I have all the hazards up that I need. So I'm going to go to my Weavile to hopefully bait in either the Albemola or the Mega Lopunny to come in, because again, I don't want Venomoth or Thundurus to defog, and I should be able to kill both of them from this range. So he's going to have to go into Mega Lopunny and get regular poisoned, which is great for me, but obviously I don't want to stay in with my Mega Lopunny, or with my Weavile on a Mega Lopunny unless I was Scarfed, but even then I probably don't kill. So I'm going to switch out of my Toxapex, which is 100% the answer, into this Mega Lopunny. He could be like a fake out last resort set or something really funky like that, but otherwise I should be able to take on this Mega Lopunny. Even if he's Encore at this set, I do have the poison racking up on him. So I would, even if he encored me into recover, I can just continuously spam that, and I should be able to kill it eventually with the poison damage. If he was Facade, I guess that would have been a little bit of an issue, but I think I still could have stalled it out with recovers. If he was Power Up Punch Facade, that would have been annoying as well. But here, predicting that he's going to switch out, I'm going to go for the Scald and hopefully get a nice chip of damage on something. And he brings in the Venomoth, which takes 50% from the hazards I have, which is great, and takes another 25% from Scald. It's a roll to knock it out from here, but there's no point in me not going for it. The worst that he could do is just knock me out with a Z Psychic, but he just goes for the Roost, which is a little bit unfortunate, and I'm not going to get a burn with this Golden I'm going for, so he's back at about 50%. I predict him to either roost up again and get the full, go for the defog, or set up a quiver dance. I was pretty confident he wasn't going to go for the attack on me, so I'm going to switch into my Infernape. Now, he could have easily gone for a Z Psychic there, or gone for any move. I guess I don't think a Sludge Bomb would have killed me, but if he was Z Sludge Bomb, that would have killed me from his range. Unless he was like a Life Orb set. So he just goes for the Quiver Dance, and probably expects that he outspeeds me, but I actually outspeed him. I'm okay if he brought the Almamola in on this play here, predicting me to be Scarfed, but I'm not going to over-predict. I don't want this Venomoth to sweep me. I know how threatening it can be. So Venomoth is going to go down, and at this point I feel like I'm in a great position to win this game. He goes into Thunderous, which is a weird play because if he's Scarfed, I don't have a switch in. So I'm going to just sack off this Infernape, but I do outspeed because he's not Scarfed and kills me. Now, he was expecting that I was going to sack something else off because he thought the Infernape was too important for the rest of, versus the rest of his team. But I didn't want him to get off an agility, and he did go for the agility. So that was a good play I made to not over-predict there. He does bring the Almamola here, and I'm either forced to switch or just do nothing with Flare Blitz. But I do have a pretty reliable answer to this Almamola, which is the RIP Cornelius. So Almamola shouldn't be able to do too much to me unless he's a, what's this set? Soak plus Toxic? No, even that wouldn't be able to poison me because I am a... No, that would be able to poison me, so that would be annoying. He doesn't get the Scald Burn there, but I am going to make the double switch into Manectric. I do this because I don't want a Tangrowth coming in and setting up a substitute on me for free, because that's really the only chance of winning this game is through Tangrowth trying to set up on my Ferrothorn or my Toxapex. My Ferrothorn is dead, so it could set up on my Toxapex. So I bring in my Manectric. I'm not going to over-predict and go for the Heat Wave, and I should be able to live one Earthquake. So unless I miss 2 Overheats, then I should be in pretty safe position here. So I do connect with the Overheat, and I'm able to knock out this Tangrowth because he's not Assault Vest or he's not like heavily Special Defense invested, because I figured he was Max Attack Adamant from the earlier damage in the battle. Now he goes into Albamola. I'm up 4-2 at this point, I believe. I'm going to just Volt Switch out because I don't think a Thunderbolt will be able to knock out this Almamola, and I can go into my Toxapex and stall it out. But as I go for the Volt Switch, it really doesn't do much damage, even at -2. So I figured he was at Saltfest and was going to go for the Mirror Coat. So I actually go into my Weavile, hopefully predicting for that. At the worst, he just Scald Burns me. I lose a little bit of differential. But he does go for the Mirror Coat and does not affect me. That's great. I don't want to risk knocking him out. He could kill me in return with a Wake Up Slap, so I'm going to go back to my Mega Manectric. Because if he also went into Mega Lopunny there, I would have been okay with that. I could have Volt Switched out. And I do have my Toxapex, which can handle the Mega Lopunny really no problem. So he does go for a Wake Up Slap. Does not do too much at all. Wakes up my Mega Manectric a little bit. And he's actually go for the Aqua Jet, show off his whole set. No point in not going for it, obviously, but that's a cool tech there with that Pauly was trying to bring. He thought he had a pretty bad matchup for this game, so he brought a little bit of heat, so I can definitely respect that. But anyway, I Volt Switch out, and I go into my Toxapex, and I do not think he can get past me. He could be like Return, High Jump Kick, Cosmic Power Rest, or maybe like Power Up Punch Rest or something, maybe, to get through this. But even so, I do have Haze, so this Mega Lopunny wouldn't be able to do anything to me based on the previous information I learned about this Lopunny set earlier. So he goes for the Drain Punch, gets an unfortunate crit there. A lot of hacks is going against me pretty bad this game. No, it's all good. But I'll be able to eventually knock out this Mega Lopunny with Scald, with my Toxapex, and the poison that I was able to rack up earlier in the match. So that'll be a nice 4-0 win for me versus PaullyMac, because he drops to 1-1, and I am able to go back up to 1-1. So I'm pretty satisfied with this game. I kind of figured out how the calculations work a little bit better, just doing it live with like approximations with the health bar on Wi-Fi. It's I know like some people have like the little ticks to show what the amount of HP everybody's at, but that doesn't. I don't think I really need that much information there. I'm pretty intuitive in like my building and about how much damage everything's doing. I am doing calcs, but I can gauge about how much percentage came off, so that's good there. But anyway, good game to PaullyMac. Really nice guy. Again, go check out his channel, which I'll put in the description below. but hopefully we can get to above 500 record with my battle for week 3. But until next time, later guys.